Hi friends. This is lifestyle and fitness coach Bikram, and today I am going to say you another tip about how to lose fat fast safely. For previous tips, see my previous YouTube videos, Fat Loss Bomb number 1 and Fat Loss Bomb number 2. So today I am going to say you Fat Loss Bomb number 3, which is about the benefit of skipping breakfast and intermediate fasting, and also show you scientifically how it helps us to burn fat naturally without doing anything. Also I am going to show you how we can manipulate of insulin hormone in our body by changing the timing of our food intake, to stimulate more fat burn naturally. I don't want to complicate and confuse everyone by going too much into science. So I am going to explain this topic in the most simplest way possible. To know how skipping breakfast helps us to burn fat, first we have to understand the hormone insulin. So what is insulin? Insulin is a hormone, which means it's a substance the body produces to affect the functions of organs or tissues, and it's made and released into the blood by the pancreas. So what is insulin's job in our body? In short, insulin helps shuttle the nutrients into cells by telling the cells to open up and absorb them. So, whenever you eat food, your pancreas releases insulin. As the nutrients are slowly absorbed into cells, insulin levels drop, until finally all the nutrients are absorbed, and insulin levels then remain steady at a low, base level. This cycle occurs every time you eat food. Once the job is done, insulin levels drop to normal and the pancreas waits for us to eat food again and repeat the process. So how can it affect fat gain or fat burn? Release of insulin hormone stops entire the fat burning process in our body. See, our body is naturally made to burn our stored fat and it happens all the time. But whenever we eat something, and the body releases insulin hormone, that moment itself the body stops to burn fat and rather it starts to store fat, making us gain more fat easily. So, in short, insulin inhibits the breakdown of fat cells and stimulates the creation of body fat. That is, insulin tells the body to stop burning its fat stores and instead, absorb fatty acids and glucose in the blood and turn them into more body fat. So whenever we eat something, or the more frequent we keep eating successive meals, the more frequently insulin is released in the body and the more frequently our body stimulates the creation of body fat. Hence, in simple language, we can see how insulin is an enemy for burning fat and how it's a friend of storing fat. While this is true, the reverse is also true. Whenever we remain fasted or take long breaks between meals, the longer our body does not release insulin hormone, and so the body remains in a fat burning zone for a longer time. So whenever insulin does not rise, our body naturally burns all our fat. Now let me tell you how skipping breakfast will help us to burn fat. When we eat dinner at night, our body takes 2 to 3 hours to digest all the food. So for the 2 to 3 hour, our insulin level rises. But after that 2 to 3 hours or 5 hours maximum, when our food is digested, insulin level drops and eventually it stops releasing insulin in the body and our body starts to burn fat until we consume the next meal in the morning, which will again stop entirely the fat burning process, due to the release of insulin hormone again. So, when we wake up fasted in the morning our body is naturally burning fat. Now if we don't eat our breakfast, we will naturally prolong and extend our natural fat burning capabilities in the body, which will lead us to burn more fat. But if we have breakfast, the reverse will happen, which is the body will release insulin and stop entirely the fat burning mechanism and starts the fat storage mechanism instead. Generally the most popular method to follow this is to have at least 16 hours, between the last dinner meal and the next meal the next day. For instance, if you had dinner at 7 p.m. then you should try, I said try, to have the next meal at 12 p.m. noon. By doing so, we can ensure that our body is in a fat burning zone for a longer time naturally. But for beginners, you can start out by remaining fasted for 10 to 2 hours in the beginning, and then proceed slowly to the 16-hour fasting benchmark. If still it is hard, then you can start more slow from 8 to 9 hours at least. But your final goal should be to reach the benchmark of 16-hour fasting. So, what can you eat during the fasted state? To be safe, you should try to drink only water during the fasting state. But if you find it hard, then you can also have non-caloric beverages like green tea, black coffee. Just don't add any sugar or the whole purpose will fail. Trust me, I have done it personally. And it's not so hard. Initially you might find it hard. It is so, only because your body is used to have breakfast since childhood. But it will feel normal very soon. I know, it is hard and surprising for many of us, because from childhood, we have heard that we shouldn't skip breakfast, and we have also heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But trust me, it depends to person to person. If you are a bodybuilder with a good genetic, then your insulin sensitivity will also be good. So if you wake up in the morning and have breakfast, then the majority of the food will go into the muscles, not fat, and lead to muscle gain and not fat gain. But it is quite the opposite for person with bad insulin sensitivity, which means, if you get easily fat, it means your insulin sensitivity is not good, so whatever food you have in breakfast or lunch, the majority of it will get stored in fat cells, and not muscle cells, which will lead you to gain more fat easily and rapidly. Hence, this is how skipping breakfast helps us to burn fat. There are also many other benefits of intermediate fasting, which are regulating stable blood glucose level in body, reverse aging, stabilize blood pressure, detox, ability to preserve muscle mass, increasing pro-hormone and releasing good hormones in body, etc. If you have any questions, or if you want me to explain more about the benefits of intermediate fasting, please do let me know in the comment section. I will be more than happy to help. So this is all for today. In the upcoming videos, I am going to tell you one by one more about all other fat burning approaches and also guide you how to do it effectively. Please